Today, I'm not going to use the phone, the microphone, because of the big Dharma master is giving the talk on internet, and it might be disturbing if we use the phone and the speakers makes the voice loud. So I'm quite excited to share with you guys today, especially that it's gonna fit with Daniel's professionalism. And this one has proven that the notion of no self before I studied selflessness, and I barely touched the peripheral of selflessness in terms of matters. And 3 days ago, I came across with a documentation from PBS, and I strongly suggest you guys go into it and watch that documentation. It says the brain who is in control. Incredible documentation, incredible. Like I said before, that I studied selflessness in concession of the mind, and in concession of the matter, which is the body, but I barely touched. And in this particular document, it goes into the brain, saying there is no self. Especially that they interview and they have a workshop. No less than like 15 doctors, neurologists, specialists, and everything about the brain. And all of them said that I'm afraid that there's no I in it. So there's no Yatam, there's no you, there's no Marcus or Daniel in it. Everything is the work of the brain. And of course that in Buddhism, that first the mind, then comes matters, then comes the brain. But in this particular documentation, first matters, then the brains, then the mind. So, but the similarity, which is, I'm so happy to share that because of they all say selflessness. Incredible, incredible. I don't want to spoil you guys. I want you to go and watch that. They go from clairvoyance, reading minds, and then from there they go to sleepwalking, and from sleepwalking they go into a lot of sections, and each section they describe that this is the cause of the brain, how it works, the frontal or cortex, and such and such, and it seems that there is some kind of agent, and then we took that agents that control your walk-ins, control your thinking and everything. And we mistaken that agent is I, as Yatam, that doing this, Yatam is talking. Actually, right now, the brain is working the intricate system that is working, and therefore there is a voice that coming out. Incredible. And go back to hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus. I mentioned earlier that the genius math student in England, his brain is just like an egg without yolk. Now, the brain is solid, right? But the normal brain is solid. But his brain is like an egg without yolk. So it's hollow in the middle. And it's incredible. Some of the brain, the boy, he was born almost without brain. He has only 5% of the brain. But somehow he survived, and then the brain grew back into 80%. That's the most that it grew. But the thing I'm interested in is that the emotions. And especially the experience of knowing. That's I'm very interested in. And they came to explanation a lot, very well explained it physically, that how it works, this, but they said that they don't know how it works when it comes to recognition, the knowing part, they don't know. So it's very interesting. Go into it, watch it, and see that. And I'm so happy when I saw them, because of this supports the notion of selflessness. Yeah, it's incredible. That's all that I can share today. So.
Was it called Who's in Control? Again?
Yes, the brain. PBS made that program. PBS, the brain. Who's in control? Yes.
I'll try to watch it.
Yes. You're gonna love it, and I love it every moment. So once every month that we shared our experience as well as the practice. So this is the time that we can share, please, everyone, so we can learn from each other.
Well, I can start.
Please.
So, based on all the conversations I've had here, I decided to try being mindful and just being in the moment and not think about what could happen, which will give me fear, and kind of leave the past in the past. And so what I do is, one day I decided, if I don't have to talk, I'm not going to talk. And if I think about the past, I'm going to say, okay, past, like my brain, I'll just tell myself past. So then I bring myself back to what I'm doing. And then if I'm thinking, someone thinking about the future, it's like, oh, if this happens, then this happens, and this happens. And I was like, oh, nope, you're thinking about the future, all the fears coming. Then I bring myself back to what I'm doing again. So the whole day I did that, and it was so peaceful. There's no anger, there's no fear, there's just I just exist, do what I'm supposed to do, feed the dog, eat. But then that night I started dreaming, and these dreams were so vivid. And I was dreaming that I'm standing watching my life flashing by as if it's a movie. And it went faster and faster and faster. And I'm watching as a watcher. And I said something to whoever was running this movie. I said, you're showing this too fast. I can't see clearly. It's too fast. I can't remember. I want to remember what's in my dream. But it was happening so fast, and it was just like as if my brain is punishing me for not thinking during the day, and now at night it's just like so I don't know if that's like something that is supposed to happen, or I'm just being weird.
Please have an input.
Well, I'd say it's a very special dream you had.
Just watching my life flash by.
Yeah, very powerful dream. I don't know what it means exactly, but it seems very special. I've never had a dream anything like that.
Oh.
Me neither. You had that dream after you start being mindful?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's as if my mind is telling me, like it's rebelling. That's what I feel like it's rebelling against me being peaceful. It's if like it keeps wanting me to keep thinking about all those events. So it's replaying in my dream, and I'm just a watcher. So when I realize I'm standing there watching, it's actually really peaceful. It's like, oh, I'm just watching. I'm not involved in all that. But I still want to be involved because I told somebody to slow down.
I would also suggest the dream might just be a coincidence,
I haven't been dreaming that clearly, and
Sure.
it's
Well, I'm sure you already know this. We dream about 4 to 5 times every night. Every night you have very strong dreams, and we just don't remember them
Right.
normally.
Yeah.
I don't have much to add to that. I have my own kind of call it other stuff to add to what you're saying with our presence. But I guess it was the same thing, kind of coincidence. I was thinking about more like introspection stuff I need to do as well too. And then I was listening to where my wife is in Vietnam, and the master there, someone asked a very similar question. Yeah, I think it's kind of coincidental a lot of times where you see, you have the same kind of thoughts, and other people have the same thoughts, and here they're half around on the other side of the world. They ask the same kind of thing. So someone asked, like, how do they do their practice? And and he gave some good steps. Like everyone, we all, we follow back to our breath. But when we follow back to our breath, we should see and feel, reflect and feel the tension within our body. Where's the tension? Where's, like if there is tension, you can tell the like and dislike or the neutral. So if your body gets kind of tensed up or something, if you're thinking about something, you kind of know maybe something is something we don't like or is disruptive. So he mentioned that part. So it helped me because I'm, trying to see more, because now I have more free time by myself to sit and reflect. And then the other thing he mentioned and thought was really good was to, what we should do, our kind of an Eastern philosophy is look inside, introspection. And he made a good comment where, so those are kind of 3 things we should look at. But I thought it was very interesting where he gave a good example of saying, like, we look, and I say too, like we're going, I don't know if you walk through your neighborhood, you'll see certain houses you like, certain houses you don't. But we never look at our own house and see how it compares, right? We're like, oh wow, this house puts up lights, for Christmas or Halloween or Thanksgiving, and you go, oh, this house kind of messy, or this house looks so pretty. And we look at our own house and go like, ooh, our house is, like I haven't mowed my lawn after a little while, or I could fix some of this stuff up. He's saying, like, if we look inside our own house, we can see how the kitchen's maybe that's messy, the clutter is inside our house, what stuff is new, what stuff is old, how dirty our bathrooms are, And so that's introspection. But in Western philosophy, we like to go travel, so we go outside and look at things. We comment and think about other, everybody else's house. And when we travel, we go like, oh, look at all the fun stuff we do, and we get to see. But Eastern, I saw at least when I was in Vietnam, a lot of people didn't travel. They went to the temple and reflected upon themselves. That was their vacation. They took their vacation time to reflect on themselves, to understand the dukkha, the suffering, the displeasures which we have, and to learn about ourselves and to become a better person. So that's the part I just like to share. And I'm working on that too, looking more at myself and not looking outside. Because, and to give you an example, like at work, I see where companies want me to look at other people, since I'm in management, try to get them to be more efficient and show that, they want me to show, be as passionate as them, show that emotion, and say, oh, we need to increase revenue, we need to do this, and I'm more logical, because even my mentor to me was like, even when I interact with people, I'm more objective instead of subjective. Like like your person, right? Just because if someone offends us doesn't mean we're not offended. We're offended, but we don't need to.
You don't show it.
Yeah, reach out, scream, bang the wall, and raise our hands. And I've seen a lot of executives now that way, where they, wave a lot of their hands instead of being rational about it. There's very few executives or high-level people left that think rationally, do certain things. To me at least, I look like Steve Jobs. He doesn't have to be. He used to be, he kind of evolved and changed where he's less about, being so, we call it,
Unpleasant.
Yeah, unpleasant.
Yeah.
And more about, hey, this is the kind of stuff we do, and he trusts his team to do the right things. Because like he even says, I hire you so you can make these decisions for me, for us, and that you're the expert in it. So why should he have to have a say in it? And Elon Musk kind of does that kind of stuff now too. Elon Musk still has needs time to polish and maybe, like what I do at work, try to zip and say less and tweet less. So that's the stuff I want to add.
So talk less.
Yeah, talk less. Yes.
So is part of what you're saying this business about always comparing to somebody else or somebody else's house and comparing too much?
Yeah, and looking, we look outside so much. Even when I walk down the street, I even see it. I walk down here, but I'll go like, oh, that house is pretty. And then I go like, oh, that house needs to do some work. And then I don't even look at my own house. I should do my own work, But the house is okay. There's nothing wrong with any of the houses. Every house in the neighborhood is the way that they want it, and it adds, it adds to our, the eclectic nature of our neighborhood. But there's nothing wrong with it. Some people may just don't have time to prune back their plants and stuff. Just like me, I have a certain time, but I try to keep my house tidy, and that's good enough. There's nothing that has broken any HOA codes, so that's perfectly fine.
I don't have too much to share.
You.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to share either, but one experience that I had today was, it's nothing much. Like for some reason, I was just craving pizza today, and I convinced myself to not eat processed food because it's not good for my health. But I remember the impermanence, so I try to watch my emotion, right, from like a third person perspective, and then it's kind of I was surprised that as I was watching it, it just went away.
That's impermanent.
Because that's the fundamental impermanence.
Yes.
So it's just interesting to me that I never thought of it this way, in my life. But when I actually apply it, then it just makes sense to me that all the desires, they just exist and then they just go away sometimes.
That's great. That's fantastic. Let's go to your point of view first. One thing we want to say is that you divided that into the present, the past, and the future.
Yeah.
But I want you to see that there is no past and future.
It exists. It did happen.
Everything is in present moment. When you think of something in the past,
Yeah.
you bring it up into the moment, into the present moment, and therefore but you relate it and you label this incident as the past, but actually it's happening in the moment, in the present moment. Same thing with the future. Even though we're thinking, but that thinking is happening right here and now, and therefore it's in the present moment.
So
Everything is in present moment.
So I brought my past and I brought the future into the present.
No. When you think, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just like a screen, the screen that when they play the movie of 20 years ago. The movie is 20 years ago, but the screen is right there in the present moment. And then the future that they play, in something, it doesn't matter. Then the screen is right there, which is showing what is going on in the present moment. So there is no past. There is no future. Everything is in the present moment. And the present moment, they won't stay solid. Therefore, it's impermanent. Even though that when you're looking at me right now, if only one frame of the picture, if one frame happened, then it is solid, then I cannot move. You cannot see my movement. You cannot do anything. Everything is that there is a frame after frame after frame, and therefore you see my movement. Therefore you hear my voice. Everything is in movement, but the movement in the present moment. And then we cannot stay fixed in the present moment. We cannot because of impermanence. In Vipassana, the second foundation of mindfulness is the feeling. What kind of feeling? There are only 3 stages: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. That's it. Everything else is an addition, mental addition toward that pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. That's all. And pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral are subject to impermanence. They change. When you're craving for pizza, I love pizza too. You feel good, and you feel even better if you can taste the pizza right there at the moment. But when you stay focused with that kind of desire, as long as the desire is there, then you feel good. But then after the desire is gone, we're going back to the neutral state. Even the neutral state is subject to impermanence. So it's you become tainted with Buddhism now. but with our Buddhism saying impermanence, the state of being impermanent is true. So it's this brings me a notion of the documentation. Half of the brain is at rest, completely at rest, and half of the brain is completely at work. Can you explain that to me? Therefore, the phenomena of walking, sleepwalking happens.
Well, I can say I used to sleepwalk quite a bit when I was younger.
The EEG showing that when the brain is in state of rest. The frequency movement is very slow. But then at sleepwalking, half of the brain stay sleeping, stay in deep sleep, and therefore a person that in state of sleepwalking, he doesn't know. He drank soap, and he doesn't know that. And then he took a class, put it right there, take a jug of milk, but instead of pouring in the glass, he poured it in the sink, and he didn't even know that. So look at the EEG. One is at rest, and one is very active, extremely active. So it's very interesting that
Yeah, when I was sleepwalking, they could talk to me, and I would follow commands and do what I was told. And I didn't remember anything. I never remembered. They would basically tell me to go back to bed, and I would do so. And meanwhile, I'd be wandering around the house.
it's I don't know, but well, yeah. Anyway, either way that we can talk about the brain or the mind. It's not you.
Ty?
I,
No, you go ahead.
I read somewhere they said the mind or the brain is just a tool for you to exist. It's like a computer. So something then deeper inside of you is the awareness, or some awareness, consciousness inside is you need to own the brain. Don't let the brain take over and start thinking and control your life. So you need to get that awareness awake, the consciousness to wake up so that it can tell the brain what to do. Otherwise the brain will tell you what to do. And I think most people, like what I have experienced, is I'm letting my brain think too much. I'm letting my brain take over. And then
That's very interesting.
so when
So
I
you
meditate,
think there's something else inside that can control your brain is what you're saying, right?
yeah, like what we've been talking about is that consciousness inside. It's not, for me, it hasn't been waking up, it's been sleeping, or I just never really been in touch with it. And so that's why I'm experiencing all these things, because my brain is just like going haywire with all these problems I'm having. But when I meditate and I manage to get all quiet and there's no thought, and somehow it's very peaceful. And if I can continue to maintain that peace and stop my brain from being too active, and only use it for work, use it to drive, use it to eat, use it to do whatever, instead of thinking a lot. I don't know if
Yeah, I can kind of relate to
If
what
I'm
you're talking
going-
about, because same thing. If I worry, then I start thinking a lot. It's just a
Yeah.
monkey mind running, and so we will have thoughts. I have thoughts like that too. And then I just go, you know what? It's like you're saying. I wouldn't say repress it, but go, not worry. Like you said, past. So I was just like, it's not a big deal. Because
But
sometimes
I would tell myself it's out of
Yeah.
my control.
Yeah.
I can't control it, so why worry about it? It'll come when it comes.
yeah, it's our monkey mind going, extrapolating thoughts, assuming. Let's say, like for me, like if someone says something bad to me, or I hear someone say something bad about Marcus, and I'm like, well, do I know it's actually this Marcus? Could be another Marcus.
Could be.
And then I just let my monkey mind go, or I hear someone say, "Oh, this guy was terrible." It's like, and I'm nearby, and I would assume, hey, maybe it was me. But I said, you know what? not a big deal. It's just more if someone needs to say something, they'll
Yeah,
tell me.
they'll say it to you.
Yeah, and so I just monkey mind. I just go, don't worry, just like you're saying too.
So there is something inside them, right? Like a consciousness,
Yes.
like you've
Yes,
been lecturing.
I'll try to just like a computer with a hardware and a software.
Yeah, right.
The hardware is like the brain, and the software is just like the neurons and everything that's inside of it. That's going. But another thing, another important element is that the power that runs with the computer. Computer cannot run without power. Computer cannot function without software, even though that the hardware is completely fine. And this we can relate it with the radio components. The motherboard that completely okay with the power, but without radio's frequency
Radio waves.
wave,
Yeah.
then it cannot work. So this is another perspective that look into perspective of mind first, and then matters, and then the brain. So this is how it is. But I lost my train of thoughts.
So when people use the word mind and brain, I get confused.
Oh, yes.
Are they the same or are they different?
Different.
They're different.
In Buddhism, it's different. I tried hydrocephalus.
Cephalus, right?
Hydrocephalus.
Definitely, yeah, don't
Now.
pronounce it the other way.
Okay. Now, is I know that hydro is water.
All right.
And then when I went back to Vietnam, I went to a lot of orphanage centers that I saw a lot of children with big head. I know it's water inside, but it's that the brain is hollow in the middle, just like that.
Yeah.
Or
Does somebody else want to explain it, or?
No, we don't have brain.
that's what I saw. That's what I saw with the genius student, and I saw that a lot. If in that case, now, when I go there, I watched very carefully about how those kids behave. They have full emotions. Sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're sad. And if the brain that creates the mind, then the missing part within the brain, how does that happen? That's what I'm very interested in.
All right. Well, briefly, first of all, you already know you have a spinal cord in your back, and then you have the brain up here, and they're connected together. And there's a spinal canal where the fluid goes through. You already know that. And when you go to the doctor, they might put a needle on your back to get spinal fluid, right? And then also in the brain, there are fluid-filled spaces. They're called ventricles. And so you make this fluid called cerebrospinal fluid, right? And it circulates around, okay? So for some biological reason, you have this cerebrospinal fluid. It starts up here and it circulates around, and it's like a cleaning fluid. And so those canals where the fluid goes, they can get blocked. And if they get blocked, then the pressure builds up inside those ventricles. And the pressure builds up, it squeezes the brain. And so that's why you have the hydrocephalus, because the pressure squeezes against the brain. The little infant, their skull is very soft, so the skull can expand. So when you see the little child with the head that's real good, it's because their skull, the bones can still expand. Was there another part to that? Or yeah. One other thing to mention. Yeah, this is very important. So your brain, more or less, you could say it has 4 parts. Okay, you have the spinal cord. Okay, That's the earliest part. It's very primitive. And then you have what's called the reptilian brain. That's like your brain stem. So that controls your breathing and your emotions. So the emotions are very deep inside of the brain. So you were asking about, the dinosaur having emotions. Yes, the dinosaurs do have emotions. They get angry and they get frustrated and they fall in love and things like that. So you have the reptilian brain real deep inside, and that's where the anger comes from, partly. And then you have what's called the mammalian brain, so that's the next layer. And then you have the human brain, which is on the outside. It's all the fissures on the very outside part of the brain. So yeah, the brain has these layers.
Yes, but what I'm interested in is that look at those one who has the brain that hollow in the middle, and if we say that this part is responsible for this part responsible for that, then the missing part right there, how come that they still experience the full emotions? That's what I'm very interested in.
Maybe because that reptilian brain didn't get squeezed by the pressure, okay? That pressure tends to squeeze the parts that are like up here where it can be squeezed.
Even though that in the middle, it's like an egg without yolks.
Well, I don't know.
The brain is, our human body is very smart. The brain can rewire itself if there's a missing part. The nerves can rewire, and it has to survive. That's the main thing, is the brain will survive. And there's a lot of like people that has accidents and they brain injury.
They become genius.
Well,
sometimes.
Yes.
Not usually,
the
but
brain
sometimes.
rewired itself.
Yes, but
Just the
but
opposite.
but then this leads to another question that the man never spoke that kind of language before, but then by accident that something hit him or he got an accident, and then suddenly that he spoke fluently that kind of language.
Yeah, it's the nerve ending they somehow get triggered and turns on.
You're right. the
Because
brain-
because of the languages, it has something doing with memories. Otherwise, that we cannot. And this one completely no memories, and we cannot put that kind of. The only thing I can relate it to that is that in sudden realization, sudden enlightenment, that it came to a person too strong that they actually rewind the neural path that runs within, and then that person become
A different person.
become completely different person than
Scientifically, they said
Yeah,
your
with
neurons and
that.
your nerves, they rewire itself. The brain does incredible things to
Yeah,
survive.
I even heard, I can't remember, I think I saw,
You have biochemistry background.
yeah, I even saw, like, I think a documentary, something like that, similar to what you saw, and like a person that got injured, I can't remember what kind of injury it was, and then they spoke a totally different, like, accent to, like a British accent, and they never had one before. So it's hard to explain all this stuff, but it's very interesting that, like you're saying, that maybe they heard some of these languages before, and they're, whatever injury they had, and suddenly now they tapped into it and they had that ability to speak that language fluently. I don't know what the reasons are, how it happens, but it is pretty interesting.
A man never played piano, never touched a piano before, but then after the injuries, he became a prodigy in playing piano. And piano, Daniel, that it requires years and years of practice.
Yeah.
So it's
You're right.
no explanation for it. But I've seen, I heard those documentary stuff too. It's amazing, but there's no, at least rhyme or reason I could figure out why or how it even happened.
You gonna say something?
Oh, I don't have something to say yet, but maybe I'll pop up some new ideas later on.
Like, I'm just curious, does Buddhism have any kind of explanation for that? Because logically, human science, at least I couldn't see any kind of explanation.
I would strongly recommend, after watching this, I would strongly recommend you to watch Bernardo Kastrup.
What is that? Bernardo?
Bernardo Kastrup is a young scientist and philosophy, and because of he has the scientific background in computers, he can explain it so clearly that the mind first, then the matter, then the brain. He's the only one right now that going on debates with all scientists. He's saying that the mind first, not the brain, and then all physics, science said that the brain first that produces the mind, but he's because of the way that he explained it is so beautifully that fits into the category of Buddhism, even though that he never have a background of Buddhism.
And what was that name again? So the
Bernardo Kastrup.
okay.
Bernardo Kastrup. Kastrupt. I think Bernardo Kastrup. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, were you able to decrease your intake of processed foods? And you already said some of how you did that with the pizza. Did you have any other ways that you did that?
Oh, I just yeah, like I was very overweight before.
Say that again?
I was very overweight before.
You were overweight.
Yeah.
He
Oh, that's
lost
very
15
surprising.
kg.
Oh,
How many?
15 kg.
almost.
50?
15.
No,
one.
15.
It's like that's impossible.
Like
All right. Congratulations. It's really great. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just forced myself. I don't think there's a secret. I just force myself. But I think this technique, I don't know, principle helps me further.
Is it because of fear? That's why that you. Is there a fear that motivated you to lose weight?
I think so, like fear of losing my health. Right. Yeah.
Is it because you started American, came to America and started American, eating American foods and you started liking it and that kind of stuff, or habits? Is it because you developed American habits?
Yeah, I think that contributed a part of it, like hamburgers and.
My friend that's Swedish the same way. He started eating the same thing, pizza and drinking pop, the American stuff, and then without realizing, after a few years, he said, "Whoa!" So he went back to eating a Swedish diet, and then back to normal. I also think he's almost kind of like anorexic now. He's not, but he's really, really skinny. Because he just saw his mom, because when his mom visited, which older than him, was able to climb, because they like to exercise in Swedish, they love to, climb mountains and ski down mountains. And he couldn't keep up with his mom, which is older than him. And that's what clicked for him. And then same thing, he went back to Swedish diet. And now he's, back then he was good. Now he's like way skinny. But maybe that's, he's very healthy though. So I have to do that now too. So I just, curious. Our American diet and habits here.
Yeah.
Yeah, our habits.
Yeah.
Out of habits, yes.
Right. It struck me a lot of our life and the problems we have and also the good things that happen. It's because of our habits, right?
It is true.
It happens in peer pressure. Usually because, go out and eat, hang out with Americans and we eat American foods. And then next thing you know, it's our culture too. A lot of volume. You go out to eat and portions. Go to Vietnam. When I went to Vietnam, we first went over there, like they're much smaller. We had to go eat dinner twice. Then we went to a normal. Yeah.
Those we go to the Europe. That the portions in Europe they're very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In
not,
Vietnam,
it's not like
it's tiny.
huge. Like,
The portions here are very big.
Way too
Yes,
big.
yes.
Super size.
It's getting smaller though.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
going.
as
It's going back to
with
where
the
it should be.
inflation.
Yeah. Quality instead of
It's
quantity.
more expensive, but it's getting smaller.
Yeah.
Like Starbucks is now.
Yeah. You have to get a grande. No, it's just much smaller.
Starbucks like it used to be this.
I was very interested in what you were saying about your job before, and I know it's very personal. You're really
I like to share.
all right. Well, I found it very interesting what you were saying before, and maybe we don't have enough time tonight. I don't know, but I thought it was very positive that you could share like that.
Yeah, I just maybe I should start off with my major. So I wasn't good in math when I was in high school, but maybe I want to be perfect, or I just don't want to like give up. I choose math major in college, and also at the same time I know that I'm really interested in psychology, so I did a double major in math and psychology.
So you're saying you weren't very good at math, but you chose a math major.
I did really bad at math in high school, and
Alright.
I chose math as a major in college.
That's very interesting.
Yes, and then I didn't know what to do after I graduated from college. And then there was a time like I started to do some small project using like JavaScript, like it's a programming language. And then I think, oh, maybe I can also be a software engineer. But my parents, they are not software engineer and they don't know anything about it. I just think maybe I should get another degree in computer science. But I was like struggling a lot when I studied computer science. But luckily that I survived, and then I got a job, and then now like I work in Microsoft. So together it's like in total I have been working 3 years. But now I start to feel like depressed and start to wondering if I chose a wrong major just to prove myself that I want to be good at something that I'm not, and also maybe I'm also chasing money, but I'm pretty sure that's not the thing that can bring me happiness. So should I just change my career, or think about changing a company or a group in the future? Yeah, that's my quick summary, quick story.
I find it very interesting that you would choose to major in something as kind of a challenge to get really good at something that you're not good at. It's really.
I think it's part of my personality.
Mhm.
Like my parents told me since I was a kid, I'm pretty courageous, like to try things that I'm not good at, or risky things. Like I did skydiving, scuba diving, and lots of crazy things.
That's great.
But now I start to get depressed because I'm doing something that I'm not good at, and it brings me lots of stress.
What exactly do you do at Microsoft, if I might ask?
So our group is focusing on database. So we split database and trying to find a way to cut costs, so give company more profit.
To split a database?
Yes, like into smaller pieces.
Hmm. Sounds complicated.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking maybe some people are good at it, so like because I also talk with software engineer in my team, and after I heard their story, I feel like they didn't struggle too much to get their work done, but I feel like I struggle a lot.
Yeah, and just say sometimes it's the atmosphere, maybe the job or the department. If you like the people you work with, then sometimes that helps. But if you it's just have to reflect on, do you really like the field you're working in? Back then, I loved, biochemistry. I just couldn't, to me, I just couldn't sleep well thinking stuff that I had to do well, I didn't have to do, but I had to hand off to other people to get the tissue I needed for animals or to do the testing I did. And I just found it, luckily for me, I kind of already used a lot of computers to the stuff that I was already doing. And so it was an easy shift for me. At first, you have to start kind of at the bottom, kind of see. So, sometimes it's working in other fields. We network and see what other people do because, Microsoft's a big company. You don't have to, just work in that area of databases. Maybe other areas might interest you.
Like sales or.
Yeah,
Yeah, my dad, he sells, so I talked to him when I was in middle school, how about I be a sales? And he said, no, it's not a good job for a female.
No.
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to just never set go by what people think of standards. Just try just kind of peek through and see
Just
what.
try it.
Yeah.
I think it could be just the opposite.
Yeah.
That why wouldn't sales be a good job for a female? It just
It's
it doesn't
like-
make any sense to
Maybe
me.
because it's a cultural difference. So my
And
dad,
like-
he
don't let that
worked
limit.
in China, like people drink together after work to
Yeah.
get the
Yes.
contract
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Right, this
Yeah.
isn't Japan. Yeah, this is totally different.
I'm thinking if I choose another major, maybe I'm running away from the root cause of my
Take time.
struggling.
Yeah, take time.
Yeah, back to your point, like who I'm working with. I talked to some software engineer and some of them work remotely, like him. Some work in the office, and most of them don't like to interact with people. They enjoy just to stay at their home to work with laptop, and sometimes they feel too shy to talk with people, or they are pretty fine with just being used as a tool to program. But I know that's like I'm not comfortable with that, so I think maybe it's a personality difference.
It depends. It might take you some time to find kind of what you want to do and what you like. That just that's something you have to just kind of look and see within yourself to see.
Is passion also a desire? Like, is a impermanence? That's my question.
I started out that I love to be a conductor, holding a baton, and then giving a cue to the great ensembles and such. But this is how it turned out.
In case not everybody knows, Thay is extremely talented at music. He has an incredible talent for music, especially Chopin and other beautiful piano.
I don't know, but I wanted to be a conductor, but then when I found out that it's not for me, and then I switched. But I went into some artistic profession too, and making money was okay. It was okay until that I found out that, like you said, the money it wasn't all about. Being happy is more important thing.
At least not.
So yes.
May I ask, do you also work at Microsoft?
Yeah, yes, I
So
do.
you two
Right.
friends or?
Do you happen to have any comments upon what she was saying?
I
Did
think,
you want to share here or not?
about
About what she was saying about her job that she's doing and what she feels about her work.
I'm not sure like how she actually interacts with
Alright.
else people.
May I ask a question? Do you like to program? In other words, do you like to, in isolation, as you're talking about, do you like to work for hours and hours, writing source code or not?
No, I want to also at the same time interact with people in person.
Project
So-
management might be
Yeah, my manager said
Right.
about, like, manager told me maybe he gave me a hint, maybe you should go product management.
Yeah.
Try it.
So if I could comment on it, you probably already know this, but many really good programmers, they have an ability to really focus and concentrate for a long time, a little like meditation, in writing the source code, in writing really, really high quality source code. And they also have a passion for doing it correctly and doing it so other people can understand their source code, writing very clear code, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know, either you understand what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Marcus, right? And that's not for everybody. It's very isolating. It can actually be very unhealthy because you're sitting there for so long focusing on this difficult problem of writing the software. Anyway, what I'm wondering is if that is part of your personality. It seems like you're saying it's not exactly that this isolation and the long focus is.
Yes, I used to want to be a counselor because I also studied psychology before I became a software engineer. But then, interestingly, after I studied psychology, I started to read more Buddhist books. That's where I go. So, like, I started to questioning the more than psychological treatment, whether they are on the right track or not. After I learned Buddhism.
So I was going to say too, you can, only you would know to see, do you like the field, maybe like the others were saying, maybe management, maybe other areas in computers, you can do certain things. Like my niece, she thought she would love law, go into law, studied law, got a PhD in it instead of be a lawyer, because she focused, changed her focus and said, I really don't want to deal with the law of people to, what's right and wrong, defend and all this, and that was just too much of a, call it mental kind of, I wouldn't call it anguish, but difficult for her to say, who do you defend and prosecute, and because there's always good and bad on either side. And so she went and said, okay, well, I'll just focus, because she already put time in it, I'll just become a law, PhD and be a law professor. And she did a law professor well. And then she said same thing, she didn't, like teaching law that much either. Now she became a law professor counselor. So you can always adjust, which is fine. Like I said, average person is going to change their career 2 or 3 times. So if you like computers, maybe, look into management, maybe looking to be a counselor, in, computer programming or within your department.
I think I'm not interested in programming. I'm interested in that I get something done, which is really hard for me. Like I like challenge, but it also gives me stress.
Right,
That
you like getting really good at something that you're not good at, and
Yes.
overcoming that challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really very positive. Yeah, just like me, I'm not very good at piano, but I do it a lot, Thay, because I want to become really good at it. But I already know I'm really not ever going to. But there's that challenge. I want to do it.
So I can give you an example of like Lynn, my wife. She loves, same thing with you, challenges. Came to America, learned English, then got her graduate degree. Her undergraduate degree, which is pretty impressive. She only came to America for a few years, and then got her, helped her through to get her doctorates, and then helped her. She, so she got a pharmacy degree, a doctorate in pharmacy. And then, when she got out, and she told me, she's like, I know these technical stuff, I have zero. And I told her just focus on school because English is already second language for her, and you'll get the experience later. So then when she got out, I showed her, the path, and it's like, okay, just do internship work, not internship work, be just volunteer at first. And then she did some volunteer, got the skills, got better and better at consulting patients, and we practiced her English. So because what pharmacists do, they can consult patients a lot. They have to have really good English and skills to talk to people. We just worked our way up, and then she got comfortable with it. And then she decided, okay, I don't want to be a pharmacist. I want to be a Buddhist, a monastic. So it changes constantly. So you just have to find your path, and if it changes, it's okay. Don't let it stress you out. The money's good now. You can do it, and then save enough money. And sometimes, like she did, she goes, okay, house is paid for. Bye bye, honey. I'm going to do now. So don't worry about too much. You'll find your path.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Sooner or
bad having
later,
that money.
find a way.
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Because if it causes too much stress, you could pause.
The
Take a-
attachment to money is really hard to detach. Just to be honest.
That's all of us.
I
It's
guess
part
the
of life.
solution is don't be attached to it. Just put it in the bank and forget about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Because hopefully you have everything you need, right? And then that means then you don't feel like you have to work. Because Lynn was able to just walk away. She said, "That's enough money. Bye."
And also a part of my struggle is also from my parents, their expectation. Like they never push me to study, but I know like deep down in their heart they have a really high expectation from me, because after I like went to Microsoft and they were really happy and they came to visit us, took lots of photos. Like even though they said, "Oh, you can do whatever you want," but I know that like they want me to stay here. And also after they support me, like encourage me to take a break, the day after my dad like shared me a book, like electric book of the title is How to Be a Good Software Engineer. And I feel so like not being understood.
He shared a book with you, How to Be a Good Software Engineer.
Yes, after I told him that I start to take a break now.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for parents to understand. They have really, some parents have high expectations. They feel really proud. But if you let them know how you feel, because once they understand how you feel, then they just want you they want you to be happy.
I
They want
guess
you to be proud.
each parent's different, Marcus. Her parents might be different. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a general case in the forest that Asian parents, they want their children to have a high
Yeah.
diploma.
Of course.
Succeed.
Yes, to be succeed, and they don't have open-minded. Perhaps I don't know. It's
Yeah.
oh,
That's it. 90% of us here, 80% of us here are Asian, so we know. Other than
And-
honorary Asian because you did
Right.
a medical degree.
Right, 80% Asian, 80% software engineers. Wow, what diversity here.
I talked to my counselor and she said, "Oh, just start to make friends with local Americans. Just don't keep making." No, she does say that literally, just like saying having more friends with local Americans. Maybe it will help me.
How would that help?
Like Asian competition is really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you
Very,
never
very.
heard. Like the reason why I keep having nightmares about with my middle school teacher is like I've been through that like harsh competition before when I was in China.
even though with the youngster that goes to this temple here, that they keep saying about depression because of pressure at work, a lot of that too. But remember, life is not all about money or fame.
Mm-hmm.
We have to balance ourselves out. Let's say that work and play.
I forgot how to play.
That's,
I always been the best student since I was in school.
that's the thing. The Americans,
Know how to
typical
play.
Americans, yeah, they know how to play. And Asians, we work so hard, we forget what playing is. Just enjoyment is like.
Yes.
So keep in mind, I have older parents. I have a lot of friends who have older parents, and when they're old, what they're just concerned about? Someone taking care of them. That's it. So when you get old, all the title goes away because you're just retired. They're all in the same old people, seniors.
Those old people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all that stuff is irrelevant. Once we get older, we just hope that someone not let us wilt away, right? Someone that care enough about us to take or to basically take care of that we have a meal and that our health. You'll see, I've seen so many older people that they didn't care about any other stuff. All the anger they had from like ex-husband, ex-wife, they realized wow, what a mistake. They kind of regretted some of that stuff. And when they're old, they're just like, wow, too bad I let this person go. And the only important thing is that they have their health and meal and someone actually cares about them, children or somebody.
I've seen that the cultural differences that in the forest they use force to make a person perfect. And here in Western cultures, that they allow them to grow up to make a person perfect. That's two different perspectives. You can see it in sports. You can see that they, in the forest, they train people to death to make a perfect athlete. Here, that they allow, they train, but they allow that that kind of ability to build up, to grow up until become fully mature. So different, and we can apply this kind of perspective at work too. Yeah.
I also want to add too, like my friends that are now, they're Asian, but they've copied the Western way of doing it, so they don't put so much pressure on the kids. What they do is they just, like typical Americans, they'll throw whatever at the kids, see what they like, right? They don't put a lot of investment into it. They'll buy cheap stuff with like, Facebook, what's it called? Facebook Marketplace and stuff, but it's still, fairly new stuff. And they just send their kids and see what the kids like and just nurture the kid, what they like to do. Because between 13 and 18, that's when they'll find out what they really like. And then that's when the parent will, know to hone in on what they like, because you have to just see what kids like. So it's kind of like, with Asians, with us being older, you have to find now at an older age what it is that you like, see what affinity, so kind of just experiment, see what might interest you out.
I think the reason why, I stopped pursuing psychology is the fear. When I look into in my past, I think the fears, only a small part of is coming from my parents, because they are generally good parents, always support me. The biggest fear is coming from the society, because when I compete with other students and also my coworkers, I see so many dark side in human natures, and there are also good side in human nature, but I see so many dark side, and seeing those dark side give me those kind of fear that didn't let me to pursue psychology, I think. But maybe it's just my illusion, my perception. I'm not saying that's accurate.
Thank you for sharing about your personal life and your feelings.
Yeah, you'll find it. You just need some time.
Who knows? You're going to become a credit Buddhist nun. Who knows?
Then maybe Colin won't be happy about it.
Just kidding. Okay, so it's selflessness. It doesn't matter what approach that you can introspect into the mind, or you can introspect into the matter, which is the brain, as long as you can find out that there is selflessness and that will work. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Great.
I'll try to watch that documentary.
Yes, please do. And then watch Bernardo Castro.